Hi y'all, this is Ife of Ife360 TV, and I am not in China right now. Where am I? I am in Bosnia, filming this. So, okay, so I wanted to come on to talk to you about something very important that's going on with me right now, and it's the fact that
If you like my videos, you have to hit subscribe because that's the only way to find out when I post a new video.
I found out that I have diabetes. So I found out literally just before I left China for vacation. So let me take you back a little bit to tell you like how I even got here. And so in 2008 I first found out that I had diabetes. Well, I was pre-diabetic and I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. So first I found out I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. So this is what had happened. I'd gone to a general practitioner. She checked my blood work. She made me do some blood work. I did fasting blood sugar, and my blood sugar was kind of high. So she was like, oh, I think something's going on with you, but let's just figure out what it is. So she sent me to an endocrinologist, someone who checks your hormones and see what's going on with you. So he was like, huh, something's off here. He measured my waist and he saw that, okay, so it seems like your waist is a little bit wider than it should be based on your height and stuff. So I then he sent me to do an ultrasound. He also checked my blood sugar again, and I was supposed to do some extra blood work. He was going to put me on birth control. I said, no, thank you, I'm good. And well, that would have been the treatment. So he would have put me on lots of different things, birth control, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do birth control because basically it's artificial hormones. Why would I want that in my body? Meh, don't want it. So that would have been able to maybe control my hormones and stuff, but I didn't take anything. However, I changed my diet quite a bit. I exercised quite a bit more. I worked out. I changed my diet. I was fit, and I even have a video where I talk about cysts on my ovaries. I talk about how I changed my diet. I'll post a link to the video as well. Man, I was in shape. I was doing P90X. I was walking. There's a hill where I used to work near to the savannah in Trinidad, and I was walking that hill all the time, and I was fit. I was good. But the thing is too, the cysts were still there. They didn't really go away. I still had excruciating pain from cysts. Basically, I still had the cysts. Eventually, I did find something called iodine. Now, iodine, it helps with cysts on your ovaries. It also regulates a bunch of different functions in your body, and a lot of functions in your body need iodine. So I was doing that. I cut back on a lot of sugar. I also found out I was pre-diabetic. So obviously, I cut back on the sugar. I was testing my blood sugar every day. I was sticking my finger, checking my blood sugar 2 hours after a meal. I was checking it before my meals. I was keeping a log of all of it. I was actually seeing that I was able to control my blood sugar levels, and after a while I just stopped checking my blood. After a while I was just eating well and stuff. So that was, I mean, I did that for a good while. That was 11 years ago by now, 2008. Slowly over time I wasn't exercising as much anymore. Thankfully I wasn't gaining a lot of weight everywhere else, but around my stomach still a little extra something, a little extra muffin situation. I've never been the kind of person to overdo sugars and overdo processed foods. I would have a little bit here and there, but I was still having it, which was still a problem. All right, let's fast forward to last year, and something was going down. I could tell there was just extra candida in my body. Like, you could see extra mucus coming out in certain areas, like my eyes and my nose and stuff. Like, I didn't have a cold, but every time I wake up in the morning there was always extra mucus. So I eventually went to the doctor recently in China, literally just before I left to go on vacation, summer vacation, and she was like, I had just done my blood work for my visa in China, because you have to renew your visa in China if you want to work the following year. So when I was redoing my visa, you have to redo your blood work. So I did my blood work, and I just happened to send it to her. I sent it to her. She's English speaking doctor in China. She's Chinese. And she was like, something strange about your blood work. One, you're anemic. Two, your blood sugar is kind of high. But let's come in, let me see you, let's check on it, let's see what's up. She said, you know what, this might be a one-off thing with your blood sugar. Let's do a protein test on your hemoglobin, and it's called the HbA1c, I think it's called, blood test. And what it does, it checks the protein in your blood to see what happened the last 3 months, to see if your blood sugar was high the entire 3 months or if it just was like a one-off thing once in a while. So I told her, actually, by the way, I've been diagnosed to be pre-diabetic for a while now, so I'm actually not surprised that I had blood sugar that one time. But anyway, she's like, here's what, let's still do the blood work, let's check it out. She checked it out, and here's what, it came back. She's like, your blood sugar was high the entire 3 months. In fact, it's in the range of being diabetic. I'm like, what? I'm like, brr. She's like, yeah, you have diabetes. I'm like, what? The thing about it is that I was kind of shocked. To hear you're pre-diabetic is like, okay, they say it's reversible, blah, 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 you know. And then to hear you have diabetes now. Now, my number was 7.13%. And that is within the range of having diabetes. Now, honestly, that depends on the country that you live in. If I was in America and I got that number back, they would still say I'm pre-diabetic. Now, if you go to China with that number is considered diabetic. So there's an actual range of normal, pre-diabetic, and diabetic. And I would probably put the numbers here so you can see what it looks like. As I said, I was in a little bit of shock. And I did not tell my family until like a couple days ago. So about a month, I haven't said anything. Now, it was a good thing I found out, to be honest, just before my vacation, because the countries I visited while on vacation, the amount of flour they eat, the amount of bread they eat, the amount of sugar they eat, the amount of honey and things that would spike my blood sugar, it's all the things that I was surrounded by. And I will tell you, I will be honest, I would have sampled every living thing every day. So basically my blood sugar would have been spiking. Spike. It would have been like going off the charts, because I would have been eating everything, trying everything, eating bread like crazy, pizza, pizza is my favorite food. I would have drowned in pizza if I could. So what did the doctor do or diagnose or prescribe or suggest? She didn't say anything about diet, which is kind of scary, because that's like the number one thing that you should have told me. The number two thing she should have said was exercise. She didn't tell me any of it. Now, the thing too, what I've started to realize with some of the Chinese doctors, they actually are running after dealing with using Western medicine. And I actually find that scary, because I'm the kind of person, I'm open to organic treatments, I'm open to healthier treatments that don't really prescribe just tablets and pills, right? Or lifestyle changes. That's me personally. That's what I go for. Lifestyle changes with regard to food and exercise. The first thing she wanted to give me, metformin. Now, I've heard about metformin before, because ever since I found out 11 years ago in 2008 that I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, I heard about metformin, and because I was pre-diabetic, I heard it's one of the things that the doctor would have put me on to control my pre-diabetic stage. But when this woman prescribed it to me, I ran to the pharmacy and I bought the metformin. And then something told me, let me read up on this metformin, let me see what's up. So when I was reading about it, now yes, it reduces your blood sugar levels, and I will tell you a little bit about that in a second. The thing about it is that your body starts to rely on the metformin, where even if you change your diet and you start to exercise, your body no longer starts responding to that in your lifestyle change. It starts only responding to when you take a tablet, take the metformin. So when you take the metformin, then your body starts to be like, okay, I will drop your blood sugar. But if you exercise, or if you eat less sugar, or you use less foods that convert to sugar, your body does not respond to that as well. It always starts relying on these tablets. So I was like, hold up, that means I would start to depend on these tablets, and there are other complications that could lead to that. So if you do your own reading on it, you would realize that it's crazy with regard to how much your body starts relying on metformin to control your blood sugar levels. Now, it's type 2 diabetes that I have, and mine is more related to insulin resistance. Now, why was I mentioning polycystic ovarian syndrome in the beginning? It's because polycystic ovarian syndrome has a lot to do with insulin resistance. So what happens is that your body is basically not able to break down the sugar in your body. Okay, so I'm going to post a little diagram that kind of shows you what it starts to look like. So you eat the food, your body starts producing insulin, but it's not able to break it down. Your cells start resisting the insulin in your body. And because of that, the sugar in your body starts to store it as fat. But then you start feeling hungry again, you start eating more sugary foods, your body starts producing more insulin, your cells start resisting the insulin, and you start to see there's a cycle. Basically, your body ends up with way too much sugar in your blood. It can't break it down. It can't work it off, so you either need to exercise more, reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, start using insulin, or start taking tablets. So there are a host of different options, and I don't want to be the one taking tablets, so I reduced the amount of sugar as if I wasn't already doing that. However, I would say this was one of the years that I was least active. These past few years, I would say in China, I've gotten less and less active. I used to be so active, like exercising all the time, working out all the time, and I pretty much at a desk a lot of time in the day. And after work I don't really exercise that much. I sit a lot for a lot of hours, and I actually wasn't too surprised that I found out that I had diabetes. Now, when I did tell my family, I told them one by one over a period of time, and eventually I just tell everybody found out, and well, eventually everybody knew, and that's why I was like, you know what, it's time to share with you guys, because my mom was shocked, like me, because she knows I really try to take care of my diet. So to find out that I still ended up with diabetes is just insane, you know. She's like, oh, I hope you're eating more salads. That's exactly all I can eat at this point in time now. And as I said before, I was slipping back into a lot of the things that I used to eat. So I was eating more potatoes again. I was eating a lot of bread again. So, but now I've gone back to like cutting it all out. So no bread, no potatoes, no pasta, no rice. I mean, nothing that is a carbohydrate that breaks down to sugar, basically. And no wine, no beer, no cakes, no pastries, obviously. So I mean, I would say obviously, but then when I was hanging out with some friends and they're like, oh, so you can have bread, right? No. You can have potatoes, right? No. All these break down to sugar. You can have some beer, right? You can have wine, right? No, I cannot have any of those, you know. So it's kind of hard because, I mean, when you're traveling and you want to try different foods, you want to experience what that country has to offer, experiencing the food as part of the culture, part of their culture, and finding out that I couldn't, it was very disappointing, and disappointing for my friends too, because they wanted me to try so many things. Burek, pastries, cakes, baklava, everything that I could not eat. They wanted me to try, and they're like, wow, you're definitely missing out on this trip. And they know I love to eat, so they're like, you of all people, finding out you cannot eat soup and so many things. I was like, I know, it's hard. All right, so what have I been doing ever since I found out? As I said, I have been eating lots and lots and lots of salads. And I don't know, I wouldn't say it has been difficult. It's just that it's just difficult finding salads that are wholesome, like heavy salads. Like I sometimes have to order 2 salads to get like a good sized portion, because I don't want to get too hungry, you know. And the thing is, whenever I order a salad, guess what they bring with it? Bread. Order a soup, guess what they bring with it? Bread. I'm like, nope, take that away, can't eat it, you know. So that's one thing. And then I drink a lot of yogurt as well to help break down. Like if I do have something that does have some sort of carb in it, some sort of carbohydrate, I have yogurt to kind of help my body to break it down. Yeah, so if I would like to know from you, do any of you have insulin resistance? Do any of you Did you, any of you, find out you have diabetes? Do any of you have polycystic ovarian syndrome? What have you been doing? What did you do? Definitely exercise as well. So since I've been traveling, I walk either close to 20,000 steps a day or 22,000 steps a day. I could actually see that a lot. I mean, my weight has dropped. But one thing I do want to say though, I did have symptoms of it, having insulin resistance or having diabetes. I had symptoms and I sort of ignored it. So a couple of the symptoms that I had were the candida. That's one. Candida thrives off of it. Your body naturally has candida, that's normal, but then if it starts to overproduce itself, if there's too much, it's because there's too much sugar in your bloodstream somehow. So that was one. The other one was at night. This started to happen like a couple months ago. I would get up like 2-3 times in the night to use the bathroom, and I know I didn't drink that much water, so why am I running to the bathroom so often? I don't know. I also, another symptom I had was the restless leg syndrome, which was associated with my insomnia and not being able to sleep, not having a restful sleep anymore. That was another symptom that I ignored pretty much. Being thirsty quite often. Now this one was a very subtle, because I already drink a lot of water, so it was very subtle. It wasn't as drastic as the other ones. Oh yes, and then my feet. So I was starting, that's one thing when you have diabetes, your feet start to feel like there's like a numbness with nerve, because of the nerve damage from having too much sugar in your system. It actually starts to overwork your nerves and stuff. So the nerve, you start to get like a lot of pins and needles in your feet, which I was getting a lot, and I was ignoring it, to be honest. I knew it was happening. All right, so those are the few symptoms that I had. Now I want to tell you one other thing that I have added to my diet as well, that I think has been helping, is moringa. That has been helping as well too. I had taken a break from iodine, which is also something that helps with polycystic ovarian syndrome, hormonal balance, insulin resistance, diabetes. I had stopped for a while too, and the moringa I was taking for quite a long time, and I stopped, and I'm back on it again, because moringa also helps with reducing the blood sugar levels in your body and a host of other things like balancing hormones. So I just wanted to tell you guys all of that, and I hope it was helpful. But I do want to know from you, what are some of the things that you would suggest for someone who has diabetes or finds out that they have diabetes? And I hope that anyone who is going through this, they get some help from the video that I posted. And I was a little bit skeptical about sharing it with you guys, but I mean, it's actually something that I think I wish someone would talk to me about too, if they were struggling with it. So it has been really helpful sharing it with my family, because they have opened up. Well, first of all, shocked, and then they've just been pouring information into me, and it's like an information overload right now, to be honest. But that's also why I took a little while to tell them, because I knew they would just like bombard me with information. And as I said, I already do eat quite really well, and the exercise is one thing I lacked quite a bit. So when I get back to China, as I've already been doing, I've been walking quite a bit here, but I definitely want to start back swimming quite a bit. That is one of the major exercises that I can do to get my body active and working again. So that's it from me today. I hope this was helpful for you. Talk to you soon. Bye.